Hi friends, welcome to Kelly Century Ranch. My name is Amanda. If you're new here, I like to say we are the corporate prodigal children. We spent 20 years chasing our corporate careers until we decided to move back to our family's 100-year-old farm to restore it for the next generation. We're in my garden, in my pepper garden, and I thought I would just do a video to chat with you guys as we harvested and talk about some peppers and some life things going on. These peppers in my raised bed are growing like, they're just producing like crazy. I have harvested them and harvested them and harvested them. Now next week I'm actually having surgery. I'm having my gallbladder removed, so nothing too major. As I think I've mentioned in some previous videos, I've been having some different medical issues over the last few months, and they think that the gallbladder is the cause of one of them, not all of them. That one's a green one, but that's okay. We'll throw it in the bucket. It'll be just fine. So anyway, I am going to have surgery next week, and I want to get these peppers picked. I don't know that I will get to them. I don't know. We'll probably make some hot sauce with them. Most of them. We might dehydrate some. But I want to get them picked, and even if I don't get them used up for the hot sauce, I can freeze them, and so that's what I'm going to do. But right now they're just blooming everywhere. They're ripening everywhere, and some of them are even getting to a little past the ripe stage, and I don't want them to start drying out. As you can see, some of the leaves and stuff have been drying out. This pepper is still fine, but I want to make sure that I get them harvested, because I don't know, having your gallbladder removed is a pretty standard procedure these days, but I don't know how I'm going to feel afterwards, and so I just want to get them. That way it's just not something that's, those little to-do lists that are like, in the back of your mind, like, I need to get that done. So I want to get that done. Yeah, as you can see, some of them are starting to get a little wrinkly. There's the cat. No, kitty. So that's what we are doing today. So one of the things I thought we could talk about today is just some projects going on the farm. It's hard. I don't do a really great job of explaining all the projects that are going on around here. But we are in the middle of putting in a new fence, and so we have decided, last year we did stocker cattle, so that means that basically, for anyone that's not familiar with that, basically we bought them as like feeder calves, like in the spring, and then we would raise them all summer and then sell them in the winter and in the fall. And this year we decided to go ahead and keep them. Our plan was always to start a breeding program so that we would have, adding to our breeders and such like that. But we didn't have the fence in the 40 acres that is closer to our actual farm. So that makes it really difficult to raise cattle in the winter when you have to travel to get to them and things like that. So we are trying to get that all set up and established so that we can raise our cattle throughout the winter. That's a pretty big project. All of the fences were, gosh, we don't even know how old they were, and Jacob's mom doesn't even remember them being replaced. So it's been a hot minute, and they were really needing to be replaced, especially since Jacob's dad was always really good about taking care of things around the farm, but he had passed away a few years ago of cancer, and the few years prior to that, he just wasn't in the best of health. When you're not in the best of health, trust me, I get it. I've been dealing with some health issues. Things just have to take priority. So anyway, the farm was in, this part of the farm is pretty much untouched. It needed a lot of work. We had all of the fence rows cleared, and so we paid an excavating company to come and clear out all of those, and we just never had gotten the time with, restoring the family farm. There are so many projects, because basically we're starting from the ground up. We had a barn, a small barn, like a 600 600, I think, square feet barn, that we converted that. It was just like a, you know, just a pole barn. We converted that to a tiny house, and then again in the year and a half or whatever it's been, we have just we've just had project after project. That's all we had here when we started, was that and a well, thankfully. So we didn't have to drill a well. We did have to put in a new septic tank, and then we put in the barnyard and the chicken coop, and of course the garden and the greenhouse, and we purchased an additional 20 acres, and we bought cattle, and now we have turkeys, and you know, we have rabbits and quail and all of those things. You know, it's a lot to build in a short amount of time. So that's a big project that's going on currently on the farm. Another thing that we have been kind of, you know, experimenting with, or I guess you could say, is turkeys. We've never raised turkeys before. We thought we were going to do one thing, and then we didn't. So we had built this kind of almost like high tunnel type barn that we had gotten, and we thought, well, maybe we'll raise the turkeys in there, because again, we're not raising turkeys forever. It's not like they're going to live in there forever. Our idea was that we were going to raise some and we were going to sell them. We would have a handful that we were going to process for the freezer for our holiday meals, and then the rest we were going to sell. So we decided, okay, we could put them in there as we grew them out. It would keep them, you know, out of the weather, things like that. Well, then we decided to convert an old storage shed to a turkey coop, and we decided to do electric netting. And it's worked okay, but like every new project, there's just been some quirks that probably going to do differently. But that is another project that has been going on. It's done really well. We started out with 26. Everybody said that turkeys, that you have a really low success rate, right? That they die. They're really hard to get to maturity because you know, there's a big loss rate. But we really didn't see that. We did lose one just randomly, so I'm not really sure what happened there, but we did lose one. And then I have sold 4 of them so far, so it's pretty good. We have this netting that we put up to keep the chickens out of our raised bed. Next year we'll probably do something different with the chickens during the garden season, but this year, honestly, I've shared before, our garden just didn't do the best, and so I just didn't think that it was really necessary to put the chickens up for such a small, you know, garden. So anyway, next year we might do something else, but we can always use the netting for something. So that works okay. So the turkeys and the cattle are our biggest projects right now, other than it is October. This year has gone so fast, you guys. It's incredible how fast it goes, right? And so, I got several green ones on that one, unfortunately, but that's okay. They'll be okay. But yeah, so we are preparing now for winter. So there's a few things that I want to do before winter. Again, we're trying to get the fence in before winter so that we can move the cattle over here and get a water situation. We do have 2 ponds on this area, but we want to put the cattle on waters. The ponds will be there in, you know, as an emergency backup, but it is our plan to keep the cattle out of the ponds. It's better for the cattle, and it's better for the ponds and things like that. A lot of people do raise their cattle with ponds to drink. That's where they're at now, and that's okay. But we're trying to go to waters as we put them into this 40 acres. As the garden starts to wind down for the year, I'm always planning. Let's be real. We're always planning. I think that I'm that kind of person in general. I'm always planning for something. But I think especially on a farm, on a homestead, you're always planning for the future or the next season. And it's not that we're not living in this season, because we definitely are living in this season. But I think that it's always, you know, I often say that the fall harvest me and the spring planting me are two different people. But that being said, you know, there's a lot of changes, a lot of things that we have decided to completely different this year because of successes and failures. And one of the things we are going to be doing is more raised beds next year. These have done absolutely phenomenal, these peppers in here, whereas our in-ground garden I've shared with you has been an absolute failure. I mean, I grew some pumpkins and I'm very happy about that. So we did get something out of it, right? Thought I saw a few more red ones in here. Not as many red as we've been getting, but we're doing pretty good. So we're going to be doing a lot more raised beds next year, and again in this fall harvest time. I mean, I say fall harvest time again. Always planning, right? Always planning. But trying to figure out, again, I broke a stem. They're getting, oh, these are all red, so that's okay. They're getting pretty brittle at this stage. Still very green and full of life, but cayenne plants are always a little brittle. Or maybe I'm a little rough on them, right? Just do that down there. So that is, we want to do some more raised beds in for the garden next year. Another project we're kind of preparing for, we're not in it yet, is for the next spring, is we want to raise more meat chickens. This year we had never done that before, and so it was a new process, new experiment. So we did, I think, like 25, and it was great. Like we absolutely love being able to have all of our own proteins here on the farm. But as many proteins as we can, we like to produce here on the farm. So we plan to expand that substantially next year. Also, as far as the birds go, is we did 25 turkeys this year, and we're probably going to expand that next year. One of the things we would like to offer is we would like to be able to offer meat birds for the holidays. Now, we grew enough meat birds for our holidays. We grew 4. I wasn't sure they would all live. They all have, and so we will have those for our own consumption, our own eating around the holidays. But next year we would actually like to be able to offer a few locally for those that might want some. That's about it for the cayennes. Not too shabby. The ghost peppers, they're out of hand, y'all. We gotta get to them. Pay no attention to the out of control marigolds, right? That I planted as pollinators that were supposed to be this cute little side thing for pollinators, and they've taken over. Anyway, look at all of these ghost peppers. They're just everywhere. Again, I have the fence up and down, and we'll take that down for now, and then we'll put it back up. Oh my gosh, the ghost peppers. They just keep going. And our reapers are ripe. So now we have a whole bunch of reapers. Got to keep those separate, or I'll forget which is which. Ooh, a couple more cayennes in there. It's like a jungle in this garden. It really is. So that is, pick a few more of these cayennes. I don't recall planting that. So in addition to the meat turkeys, we do want to grow more heritage turkeys. Like I said, we grew around 20 or so heritage birds this fall, and again, first time ever doing it. Didn't know what we were doing. Didn't have the best setup, but it's been very successful anyway. So, thankfully they've been real resilient and have done really well. So we probably will increase. Someone's got some bug damage. Just throw it down there. The chickens will find it and they'll eat it. Can't throw it in the barnyard because we have the goats and everything, but the chickens do what they want, so they come out here. Chickens are doing over there right now. And so anyway, so yeah, we're probably going to do some more meat or heritage breeds. This year we grew Royal Palm and Blue Slate. I thought that the Royal Palm would be more popular, but the Blue Slate has actually been more popular, at least in the first small animal sale that I did. A lot of people have messaged me and asked about the Blue Slates. Other animal things that we would like to add or subtract over the next year is we would like to, I think I have a splinter. Just barely got it. We would like to, we tried our hand at Nigerian dwarf goats. We had a handful of those. We sold a few of those. We lost a couple, unfortunately. And, while they're fun, and we only have 3 left now. We have 2 girls and a boy. We kept a boy back that is unrelated to the 2 girls that we kept. So we're probably going to have some next year, but it's not going to be a big focus. On the other hand, we have 2 sheep. We have a ram and a ewe. Jacob sheep is what we have, and we are going to probably expand that quite a bit. We'd like to expand the Jacob sheep, but we also, I think, want to get some hair sheep to put in our fields as well, to run with our cattle. They make good companions out there. It's just crazy in there, guys. Just crazy. Ghost peppers are one of those plants that if you can get them to grow, they're so prolific. We've had a few issues with them in the past, getting, blister beetles. Squash bugs are a whole nother story in the in-ground garden. But blister beetles, and then we've had, of course, they're very susceptible to frost. That's another reason why I'm getting these picked now. It is the October, I think today is October 3rd. Yeah, it's October 3rd. And so we are getting these picked because the last 2 nights, even though it's been like, almost 80 during the day, it has gotten, I think when I got up the other morning, it was like 45. And peppers really don't like it under 50, but but just in case, it just takes one night getting even in the low 40s to get some frost, and especially with these being raised beds, they're not as protected as like an in-ground garden, and so I don't want to lose all of these peppers to just a chance random early frost. Again, I don't think we're going to have that, but I am, like I said, going to have surgery next week, and I don't know how I'm going to feel, if I'm going to feel like getting out in the garden. I don't know how much work I'm going to want to do. So just in case, between not feeling well, the surgery, and life is just busy, I think our last frost date is actually... I'd have to look. We're in zone 6. I'm not sure if it's late October, early November. Typically, that is when it is had. Like a couple years ago, I remember it was on November 1st that we got our first frost. I don't remember what our official, what the Farmer's Almanac says, but I do know that I think it was the year before last. I just remember picking a whole bunch of peppers on Halloween. So that's why I remember that. So finishing up talking about the animals, that is only our plans as of right now for the coming year for animals. Now, again, it is October 3rd at sunset, 6:30-ish. I'm not sure what time it is. So that could change at any moment. It could change at a random sale where I found something fun to bring home, or it could change with an actual planned decision, which I'm not as good at. I mean, I'm an absolute good at wanting to plan things, but I'm also a bit like, oh, I need that, and bring home said animal, and then the husband has to build infrastructure for it. But I'm getting better at that. That was definitely me when we first started this homestead journey, because everything was new and exciting, but I've learned a few things since then. So that is the, I know it's a little back and forth on the conversations because, you know, squirrel, or in this case, ghost pepper. I will attempt another in-ground garden next year. I don't have any specific plans. While I would love to find some compost or something to make life better with that, I don't know. I'll probably spend a lot of the late fall and winter researching and thinking on that. But the you know, the first year and a half or so, 2 years, let me think. See, Jacob stopped, his last day as a police chief was the very last day of 2022, and then of course he came back to try to set up the house living conditions, and then I was here and there and back and forth at our old house, and then I officially came here full time, and all of that in May of 2023. So it's been about that time since we've been really like homesteading. The first little bit was just getting all of the ducks in a row after he left law enforcement, and getting, you know, things switched over to this new property, or this new old property, you know. So that was that first year, and we really just kind of had that summer, and the garden was a flop. Some of that was the soil, a lot of that was the soil, but a lot of that was just, I couldn't devote time and energy to it as we were moving everything to the farm, and I was switching jobs and all of that. My bowl it's a pretty big bowl, y'all, and it is getting full. There are still a lot of orange ones, but it's getting about there. Plus the sun's going down, and I've got some chicken in the pressure cooker for some homemade chicken and noodles, so I'm gonna try to finish this up. So like I said, the first few months was just trying to get established here, and then since this year, the 2024, has really been trying to get the different infrastructures and stuff just set up for farm life. Now I really think we haven't gotten quite to the end of 2024, and I am always big on goal setting. Not really big on New Year's resolutions. I'm very big on hey, make a goal on a random Tuesday, and then that's the new goal. I will say, I just dropped my bowl. Thankfully I had just started picking the reapers, so it's only like 5 or 6 of those. I will say, random side thing. This is how these random vlogs. This is how just chat with me in the garden goes. It's going to be from one subject to another. Just try to keep up, I guess. I don't know. If you're like me, you you're like me, you'll understand. You'll be able to follow. It's fine, right? The only goal I have done fairly well on this year, I did make a New Year's resolution to read the Bible front to back this year, and I am on track to finish that actually before the end of the year, probably in November. So yay, that has been a very wonderful experience, and I hope to finish that. Check out these Marconis. These are sweet peppers. These are sweet like a red roasting pepper. Oh my gosh, they are beautiful. I've got one completely red, and then I've got one that is almost red. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it. It's turning. Again, trying to get some of this stuff picked out of the garden before my surgery. But yeah, that is kind of the goals. Again, we'll probably do it in ground garden. We'll have to, do that. More raised beds. Updated you up on all of the other things, right? Here is our haul for tonight. I did not get to the other garden bed, but that's okay. I need to get this bed put, the fence put back and get in to make dinner because it's almost time. That sun is setting. So thank you for spending time with me this evening in my garden and just chatting with me about plans and life. And I know that these are kind of random, but that's okay. It's like chatting with a good friend while you're working in the garden. And so I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for being with us on this journey as things, come and twist and turn and go, and life is always unexpected, to say the least. And we just enjoy sharing with you guys. So please hit the like and subscribe button to follow our journey. Please comment down below if you guys ever have any comments or advice. We would love to hear them. Sometimes we're on this journey. It's a beginning journey, and we don't always know what we're doing. But thank you guys again so much for spending time with me again out here in my garden, being my friend out here in the garden. I look forward to seeing you next time. Again, like and subscribe, and join me and chat with me in the comments. Thanks, guys. Bye.